Chapter 3 of Deuteronomy, and you're going to see that Moses is doing a review session of what has happened to them in the last 40 years. God's faithfulness to them, their unfaithfulness to God, God's still faithfulness to them, how he's brought them through, he's won victories, and he is also going to tell these people the law again. These are now the adults that were children when their parents were unfaithful. So let's get back to the story. He was reviewing where they were, and if I remember right, he was not quite to where they are now. He was where they were going to battle Sihon and Og. I think they were about to battle those the kings, those pagan kings, and they're going to take their land in Gilead. Then we turned and went up to Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan came out against us and all his people to battle at Edrei. The Lord said to me, "Fear him not, for I will deliver him and all his people and his land into your hand, and thou shalt do with him as you did to Sihon king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon." So the Lord our God delivered into our hands Og, also the king of Bashan, and all of his people, and we smote them until none was left of him and remaining. We took his cities at that time. There was not a city which we took not from them, 80 cities, all in regions of Argob, the kingdom of Og of Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides unwalled towns a great many. And we utterly destroyed them, as we did to Sihon the king of Heshbon, utterly destroying men, women, and children of every city. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took prey to ourselves. And we took at this time out of the hand of the two kings, the Amorites, the land was on this side Jordan, from the river of Arnon unto Mount Hermon, which Mount Hermon the Sidonians call Syrian, and the Amorites call it Shenir. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, unto Salkek and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og and Bashan. For only Og of Bashan remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth thereof, after a cubit of a man. Okay? So we're talking about this was 9 cubits long. So this is 9 and a half, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and a half feet long. Okay? A normal bed is 6 feet long. A normal mattress is 6 feet long. This was 14 feet long, more than twice length. Okay? And its width was, and 9 cubits, 4 cubits. So 1.5, 3, 6. Okay? So we're talking about a king or queen size bed twice as long as normal. So he was one of the last giants, and they killed him. Okay, you got to be careful if you're a bad guy. Jair, the son of Manasseh, took all the country of Argob unto the events of coasts of Jeshuri and Makathi, and called them after his own name, Bashan Japhod Jair, until this day. My goodness, that was his name. And I gave Gilead unto Machir. And unto the Reubenites and unto the Gadites I gave Gilead, even to the river, from the river Arnon, half the valley and the border, even to the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon. The plain also, and Jordan and the coast thereof, from Kinnereth even to the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, under Ashdod Pishga eastward. And I commanded you at that time, saying, The Lord your God has given you the land to possess it. You shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that they are meet for war. See, we only just saw this just a couple chapters ago. They all left their kids and built some houses, and then they're going to go over and fight the battle and then go home. But your wives, your little one, your cattle, for I know that you have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you. Unto the Lord has given you rest, your brethren as well as unto you, and until they possess the land which the Lord your God hath given them beyond Jordan. I don't know. I see a lesson here for me. We are our brother's keepers. It is absolutely true. And you getting all the way where you're going, where God is taking you, is partly my responsibility. I take that as a serious responsibility that I fight And then when you're fine, I rest. It's the same idea that you're not just to yourself. You're there, you belong to God, so therefore you are a minister in God's name to everybody, especially to the household of God. So you show kindness and help to other believers and to the outer world. You're kind, and your nature should be like Jesus's, but you are responsible for each other. And I can't rest until you are safe. I have to continue to fight until you have what you want, what you need, what God has for you as well as for me. It's not just a selfish thing. Okay, when you belong to God, you look outside of yourself. You're not inward, you're outward looking. Okay, that's the gospel. The gospel is God saved me, so I reach out. Okay, I reach out because God met me. He can do that in other people's lives too. You shall not fear them, for the Lord your God shall fight for you. And I besought the Lord at that time, saying, O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what God is there in heaven and earth, and can do according to thy works and according to thy might? I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that's beyond Jordan, and the goodly mountain in Lebanon. But the Lord was wroth for me for your sakes. Okay, now Moses is a guy. He was a great guy, but he was still a gripey guy, just like everybody. Moses is the one who sinned. Moses is the one who was told that he cannot pass over into the promised land, that he's about to die. And Moses is making sure that he rubs it in the people's face. It was because of you. I was so exasperated for you that I wasn't listening, I wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't thinking, and I was mad, and I hit the rock. So it's your fault. Okay? So Moses is a guy, obviously, just like me. So it said, for your sakes, and would not hear me. And the Lord said to me, let it suffice, speak no more about this matter. God was like, no, absolutely not. You're not going over. Get thee to the top of Pisgah, and lift thine eyes westward, northward, southward, and eastward, and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over the Jordan. So he goes up to the top of a mountain, and God shows him. He shows him the land, all right? And then later he's going to go to the top of a mountain and die, and God's going to bury him. But charge Joshua, encourage him and strengthen him, for he shall pass before the people and cause them to inherit the land which you shall see. And so we abode in the valley against Beth Peor, and that's where they are. Okay, so we're going to see that now it's time. You're ready to go. Your wilderness journey is over. It's time to take possession of the land. Now, I wonder, are they now more likely to be like their parents or less likely to be their parents? They saw their parents' unfaithfulness. They saw what it cost them. They saw what it cost them, and they had to pay personally. They wandered in the desert as children all the way till adults for 4 decades, and it cost them. I wonder, are they now willing to say, okay, God, I trust you, okay? Or are they just as faithless as their parents? So you have to ask yourself, well, am I at least as faithful as my parents? Am I more faithful than my parents? Am I less? Okay, what happens when it's me? What happens when it's my choice? Am I going to follow the Lord, or is when I have the opportunity, am I going to bail as fast as I can? Those are choices each person makes individually. Okay. All right, so we're still about to happen. The music is building, and we'll see you again tomorrow.